Hello, my name is David, and I'm going to do a patch from scratch using the Keith McMillen QuNexus and a bunch of this stuff in here as well. So the first voice that I'm going to do is just friends being controlled by the teletype. So first thing I have to do is put the just friends into synthesizer mode, and then I'm going to write the code that will play the notes. So this is a quantizer. It's telling you the key and the scale, which is C major in this case. Then I will do some, create some variables. X. So I'll do two sets of variables, so the notes are being chosen are not the same for each of the voices. And it's going to be 2 octaves, which is what the 24 is. The next part is just writing the code that the teletype tells just friends to play a note. I'll use the first variable here. Second part of it is the volume of the voice. See, it's lighting up there, so then I'll do the second voice. With the Y variable. And now they're both going. So I'll plug those in so we can hear them. And when I trigger it with the keyboard, you hear them, but each of them are being triggered at exactly the same time every time. So I'm going to add some probability to each of them. Do a 50% probability. So that way there's a lot of variation. But instead of triggering this with the keyboard, I'm going to use the QuNexus to do a little gate sequence using the hardware output. Just this guy here is the white cable. And I'm going to set this up to track 2. So every time I hit a note here, it sends a gate signal which triggers the script. And so I'm going to use the sequencer to write a little simple gate sequence. And then to play it. The second voice is going to be, go back to track 1 here. QuNexus is set up into the HerMod with MIDI, so it's sending MIDI either way. And so you could use it as a polyphonic MIDI controller. And as you can see, it's lighting up track 1 here. So I'm going to send that to the vector wave via MIDI. In HerMod, I add a MIDI output. You can see it's lighting up there. So we can connect this to the third voice. I'll expand the attack and decay there. And what's really cool with the QuNexus is that it can be either the leader or the follower with MIDI. So in this case, if I hit play on the HerMod, since it's connected here, it automatically syncs up with the HerMod. So in this case, I'm going to go and record the vector wave part, and I set it up so when I play a note here, HerMod starts recording, but it will also play back the Just Friends part, which I can then kind of listen to and play against. I'll add a few MIDI effects here to add some variation to the sequence so it doesn't get too repetitive. Some random octaves and then chants. So it's not playing every single time. And also what's cool is the gate sequence and the MIDI sequence are not the same length, so it never repeats. It's like a polyphonic sequence. The other thing that's cool about the HerMod is though it's sending out MIDI on track 1 to the vector wave, it's still outputting gate and CV, which you can use. In this case, I'm going to try to use it for a bass part, because it's taking some of the notes that I played. I'm not entirely sure how it chooses those notes, but they're usually good ones because they're relevant to what you just played. And that's a quick way to add a bass part. In this case, it's the Atlantis. Then for the third voice, I'm going to do rings into the R bar. And that sequence will be done on the QuNexus over MIDI through the HerMod. So I'm on track 1, you can see it's lighting up track 2 here. Absolutely helps if you plug the audio from rings into the R bar. So I'll record a quick, very simple sequence here. Again, keeping it sparse because otherwise it'll get very busy. Then I'll crank the wet, and then I'll play what will be the rings part and the teletype part using the QuNexus by itself. Just playing those two parts. I'm going to stop that, clear the buffer, and if I hit play on here, everything plays at the same time. And yeah, just listen to that for a minute. Yeah, so thanks for listening. My name is David Rothbaum, and this was a little performance using the QuNexus by Keith McMillen as a sequencer and MIDI controller and gate sequencer, etc., and all of these things. Thank you.